welcome to another exciting episode of Talking Parish League. I'm your host, Marvelous M.R. Richards. And of course, I'm filling in for new programs, not only personal, but I'm also here along with my co-host, Tally Arundel, and some stalwarts from the Ashton Francis, Edmund Samuel. And we also have on Zoom Mr. Carlton, also known as Tyson. But before we get into the program, we'd certainly like to let you know that Talking Parish League is being brought to you with the kind compliments and the partnership of ACB Caribbean, Simply Smarter Banking, and they've been in banking for over 63 years and also 43 years of sponsoring cricket. A very long partnership indeed.
We can't hear you right now.
If you have a need that you need to check out the ACB Caribbean, they banking, they are on the corner of Thames and the St. Mary Street, and also there's a branch here on High Street. Also Blue Mountain Water, also known as the greatest tasting and also the purest water. You can get that at the mega distributors, and they are situated on the American Road. Also, Cecil Charles Group of Companies, through its pharmacy Seco, for all your medical supplies and needs. Their experienced pharmacist is dedicated to serving the health need and the care of all their customers. They are also situated on High Street, along with Hutchison, the agents for Pine Hill Juices, and whatever your juicy flavor is, Pine Hill Juices is what we recommend, and they are situated on the Factory Road, along with plumbing and electrical. Everything plumbing and electrical, for all your good deals, you can get them there at Plumbing One Stop. You get your plumbing and electrical needs, and they are situated on the Potter's Main Road, and also brands for less. And the name says it for itself. You get all the brand names, and you don't have to pay much for it. And they cater for men, women, and also children. And all you need to do is to go and tell them that we here at Antigua Parish League sent you. And they will sort you out. And remember, we are on Facebook Live, and also on YouTube. And also we are asking you that if you want to be a part of this program, that you can call us at 779. What's the other? 779.
Mark, if you're in the CTV, 77620 and 66.
77620.
866, but see that for too long, not to remember that.
Definitely, I should remember that. Yes, and we're asking you just to share and to also like us. So let me now welcome our in-studio guest, who is Ashton Tushy Francis and Edmund Samuel. Welcome to Talking Antigua Parish League. And now we'll turn you over to our co-host, Taliana, just to introduce all our guests here this afternoon.
Thank you. Yeah, good afternoon again, once again, to our viewing audience and listening audience, today, filling host. Couldn't even say that again, it's part of Parish League now, ACB Parish League, Mervyn, But, it's stumbling a little bit, but I know you can get it right soon. Stumbling out of the block. ACB, Mervyn has been sponsoring Parish League for, 43 years and counting. And I heard you, a little boo-boo, they'll say, there's no doubt about any bank. Any bank is ACB bank.
That's right.
It's not ACB Caribbean. They know the bank, but the ACB Caribbean.
Simply Smarter Bank.
Simply Smarter Banking. That's what it is, I tell you what, I was putting the show together, and boy, it was hard to put together, but eventually we get it good, because first time he named Carlton, he told me the Macarthur, I was Tyson. I know Tyson, I never know Tyson, We have been on Zoom today, and well, I tell you what, Mervyn, because you said something earlier now. Peas are the richest of your sports.
Definitely.
And you're so right. Because when I was small in Seaton, I used to hear about the Shepherd and Swans and Tyson. That time about 7 or 8, we want to play against them, we can bang them out now. want to play against them. Like, it be so. I was making this so good. You know what I mean? But that is a fact. The fact is a fact is a fact. And then sometime after now, PS had this dynamic. You should know this football team.
Oh, yes.
Then once you go on you a little bit. So you should know about that too. While we're in the gang, you know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
So there's no doubt that PS are the richest your sports. But I was shocked when Ed Mead, somewhere one of our guests, told me that his brother Errol. It's some PS. I said, Errol from PS. I know free to where they come from. So he didn't know what PS was. I said, what do you mean? So then you tell me, Errol was this big football and cricketer. So I said, nothing goes so bad. But then so I had to call Errol and find out what was going on. And they tell me, yes, he was a cricketer. Maybe he wasn't great, but he was good football and all against him. But most of all, he was a curator for the ground. And since you're young, we make sure people can play. And that says a lot. But then you know about his, you know what his golfing prowess. You know about that. So
I'm still going.
so that I'm saying to you, PS that is which is your sports.
As a matter of fact, you were telling me today is his birthday, so maybe...
Yeah, today is his birthday. I heard that in the radio today. As a matter of fact, so his wife called in. I said to the 80th, he told me he couldn't come back in today, but he didn't tell me his birthday. So he promised to come in next week. I said, I want him on the show. So he promised to come in next week. Okay, I want him. He can't dodge me. I know he's a good friend from Cedar Valley. I go to Cedar Valley since 1982. My guys are trained out there, so I'm talking that's almost 40 years now. I know him from Gold Coast. You know me, boss. So I would say I have a good friend here, Tushy, and my school with classmate Ed Mead. But Tushy Rising man now. Tushy Rising man. You know, when Rising man come and say St. John's man, I don't think I'll take it. There's a big sign. I don't think it'll defeat them. I don't think it'll defeat them. We can bang him again as usual. You know, so come in here. You have this Rising St. John's man and the St. John's man. And you Rising man who will bang all up. So the blows continue. So I said, we promise I will great show today. Ed Mead and Tushy. There's those guys on the PS committee, and they have a lot to talk about. And Tyson, no?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
The first time that Tyson's in St.
That's where we
play against him time now, till 1972. So I said to myself, I finally meet this jokey Tyson.
I'm so glad that Tyson on your head.
Yeah, man, come you want bang him out like that, you know. Say we spar me about him, he couldn't play cricket yet. Come you want bang him out, if we can bang them. You know, we go out, we don't fear nobody, you want to play. So, but you're going to have Tyson, you know, Tyson's a legendary name in cricket in Antigua. So Tushy, he got to send over and Ed Mead have to send, we'll get going.
Certainly, okay, good man. So now we're going to, and also we have on Zoom, as I said, we have Carlton Jarvis, also known as Tyson. I first met him in St. Croix, and I got a lot of part of him, but what I saw there, I was very much impressed. Well, welcome, Tyson. Welcome to Antigua Talking Parish League. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
We're welcoming you to Talking Parish League. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm not hearing you clearly.
So you're not hearing clearly.
We can
We can hear clearly.
We're hearing you.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So introduce yourself, Tyson, to the viewing public.
All right, let our viewers know who this guy is. That's how you want to
This is Tyson, as everyone is saying. I play all my cricket in Antigua as Carlton Jarvis, but my traveling name, my passport name is MacArthur Jarvis.
Okay.
So you call me MacArthur Tyson Jarvis, that's cool. And Samuel, yes, he was my wicket keeper for some time.
We keep it too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know, Taddy was talking earlier about some of the famous names of persons from the Parish community. Did you have a chance to play alongside Winston Soames? And could you tell us a little about
Being Souls is from Parish Village, all of us raised up together and played together. And then he moved to St. Johnson Village, playing with Potters, with a powerful team with Clem Francis, you name it, and give us 90 runs to win. We already went first, and as usual, we beat everybody. Then I tell Teddy Shepherd, look, we playing for the draw, we already get first in decision. Teddy said, but we can knock the run off. We said, okay, so we knock the run off, I go and bat a 3. So I control the batting. And we did, because Clem stubborn, but we good. And that's about it. And we didn't fail Winston because he was with us. That's the part. When everybody in Antigua failed Winston, he's just like, he's all about it.
So Tyson, you're a batsman too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Most every Thursday when we play, and like we out the team like with about 3 or 4 overs to go, Earl Michael asked me to open, and I was out back to the open back. So and when like afternoon when the school bus reached factory run east, and when they look the school boys, and when they look out and they see Tyson batting, all of them out of the school bus.
Wait. You're so famous, man.
Very. And one other thing you should know, being Claxton was, let me say, he married to a lady from here, and manager in the sugar factory. So he watched me at Beers and put me in factory team to bat at 3. When they frowns, they start, and the so-called big buns playing for factory. And I batting at 3.
So when you get in the team, that sounds like something illegal.
Not really, because I was about my last couple thing in school, and the gentleman, he's being ignored me just like Andy. When Andy tell Brunel Jones, he have a guy in Antigua, faster than the went by. So when he coming through from Jamaica, passing Antigua, and he saw Andy and he get pick all those books I have. You understand that?
Yes.
So people see you, watch you, and know that you're capable. And that's it.
But tell us, you have followed cricket, and you know, Soles was one of those guys whose name always come up about could have played for the West Indies. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you go back that you asked me if I'm a batman too. Just like Sones. Sones can bat just as the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in Antigua side. And that's how Pairs train our fast bowlers to bat. Sones was the best when he played against Guyana. He played a couple of and he was the prettiest around. So he was capable. And this second half, this one half, Scott Christian came down here and he said, Tyson, if you didn't leave Antigua, you look like West Indies. I said, why I said that? He said, because some people I see play, you're much better than them. And they came down here with Rising Sun. And he said, and you don't call Tyson, them boys are playing better than me at that time, when he played. So you understand the type of cricket I used to play.
Who was that Tyson came down here, son?
Andy Roberts, ask him anytime.
Okay, can we write this up?
And Rising Sun had to give you a story. The first ball of the season, first ball of the day, 75 was open, but this was intermediate against Bonnie Butler. With style, batting the ball, pass over my leg stump from outside the arse stump. I said, oh yeah, this can't work. And it's a 50 I made from that. And next Thursday I played against school, and I think, well, Wesley coming from Pavilion then. And when a gentleman at the bus station and see me come back with a car and push him, and he said, that's a batsman. I knew that. I could Jews, people watch me. And this would be the only team I know that win a match and don't even go to the wicket to bat.
What do you mean by that?
And we played legally, not rain wash it out.
What do you mean?
When they're out, nobody else to bat. They didn't have enough people to field. They got hospital and doctor and
That is a fact. That's a game against
and nobody else
I
to
cannot dispute
bat.
that.
Hey, look, Tyson, we introduce Tushy now, so Tushy always say a little bit, then we get back to you, no? Then you can listen to him.
You stay,
Tushy, that's my ace.
Tyson,
Yeah.
apparently these guys don't know how you get the name Tyson. These are some younger guys. For Frank Tyson.
You want me to tell them?
Well, yeah, you can tell them.
Okay.
Tell them.
Peers playing against Wilkie School. Wilkie School. And when I already have 6 without a run score after me, a gentleman Hark at Crumb, he always would follow us until the cricket. He went around and I come back and stuff like that. And he got nothing but just finished this in London part in the Caribbean. And Frank Tyson was bowling for his college, Cambridge. And he just said, the master said, ease up, Frank, you're bowling too fast.
Yeah.
15, 16, 17, 18 playing for children, 19 playing for children. I was just it when it comes to cricket. Because I will play a match home before school, we play a match at school before school start, we play one at 11 o'clock, we play one after lunch. So you see how much practice I get per day?
Yeah, true.
Okay, good. And I have 3 brothers, 2 cousins, and our yard we have enough space and other boys will come close to us. Even if Tushy leave me 200 yards away, he will come down sometime.
So Tushy gets experience with you then?
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I put it because there are times we're like the greater thing there was something else. And the bowlers score like 130 or something like that. But any team bowlers for 130, they lose.
They lose?
And they come in on like 40 something to 1 and I take the first wicket. But Teddy's bowling wasn't suitable. They get him too many extras from his bowling when the ball dropped caught off that pitch, the surface. And I said, no, Tushy, this is your thing.
So wait. You met the Tushy man?
yeah. He was my first captain and that was my first game.
And I bring Tushy, yes, because we have a spot we drop the ball in front of you. And you have to determine.
Prepare the pitch? Prepare the bad pitch?
No.
Our pitch was, well, every one of us put hand in the pitch, but we have water at our disposal. Right at the boundary line, there was a lake pond. So we will water that pitch after school at 3 o'clock. Before you go to run out, you water the pitch. And by 5 we roll. And ball, almost every ball will lift stump high, no lower than that, chest high, and we determine which length we move. We hardly use a bouncer, so when we use a bouncer, the bouncer tells you, it will get you.
So she always say.
Especially, let me ask you, because I mean, you're much younger than him, right?
Yeah.
So you must have seen him.
Of course. That's what I was getting to.
What was your impression, and if he had any influence on?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like he was my first captain. But I'll go back a little bit.
Okay.
There's always somebody who comes before our time. Okay? People tend to forget that sometimes. They think that things start with the current people.
Yeah.
But as young boys, you got Tyson. There's another guy, they're dead now, Prince Philip. They went to England. And Shay, I forget his right name. I think he's a Williams. From Mr. Boo?
Sanford Williams.
Sanford, yes, Sanford, right. Those guys, those are the guys that we used to see before we reach down to to Lords.
That's lads.
Because,
That's lads.
yeah.
The big
yeah,
road.
you were talking about the different height. They prepare the wicket. The grass, we had about 5 wickets there.
Yeah.
And we fix it. Now, well, like, God bless him. He was one of the guys that always could count on him to do the work. You learn from him. But anyway, going back a little bit, we started at the primary school. Okay? Moved down a couple of 100 feet, there's another wicket there. And this is softball now. But we move progressively west. The hardball field is down where the football field is. You know.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we start playing from up there as youngsters, and you progressively go down. Okay? When you get down to the hardball field, now, well, you have arrived.
Yes.
And like you were saying, Tyson was there before us. He was my first captain, and he was telling you about this game. But this game was played in Liberta, though. And Teddy just wasn't his wicket. And we have a lot of different type of bowlers. So certain situations favor them. And you guys know I bowl just short of length and lipping kind of. So Teddy wasn't getting any wicket. And Tyson come, like he said, and he gave me the ball. That was my first game there. And he and I cleaned up the Liberta. I think I got 4 wickets in that game. And he took the rest. And from then on, it just took off. I remember I have he's still a good friend of mine, Richard Stevens from Liberta.
Another guy.
And left-handed guy.
Left-handed guy.
And when he came to school, after that, every day, everybody in Liberta wants to be Tushy Francis. That's what he was saying. All the guys were playing. Yeah. So we had guys that went before us that inspire us. But it was always cricket. Like Tyson say, we play in the morning, what we call recess. Yeah. You get a 15-20 minutes recess. Yeah. You go to play. Again, yeah. We're right there in the village, so we go home for lunch. You eat fast and come back, and you're playing cricket again. You know, after school, sometimes you play before you get home. You have your chores to do. Sometimes, well, I know there are a couple of times I get licks because I forget about my chores and stay play cricket. So when I get home now, you got to pay for that. These are the kind of things we used to do.
Yeah, but when we were growing up and we were in school, so time seemed to be so.
You have a lot of it. You have a lot of it.
No, we're older. You know,
Time just flies. It's true.
I'm telling you, when you were grammar school, I mean, you were from a sporting community, and you came to an institution where it was very high in sport. So, you tell us about that your experience there.
Indeed. To piggyback on something that Tyson said, and in fact, I grew up observing, watching Tyson, Tushy, Teddy, and those guys. I used to Winston Sons playing for Factory. Okay. Yeah, I remember.
Was it so Factory too?
Yeah.
I
was just.
But people who used to work on it.
No, not Winston. Ian.
Sorry, yes. Oh. Ian played for Factory, and Winston, in fact, played for Piers and so on. Anyway, I watched with earnest, knowing my time will come. I watched Tyson, Tushy, Teddy, and what Tyson said about a particular match was so memorable. I think it was against Freetown, and I think it was a Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was.
I never saw so much blood in my life. I'm serious. It was frightening. When one batsman was coming from the nurse, another one was going up. I'm sure you recall that, Tyson. I'm sure you recall that. I mean, they got hit so many times, and I said, it scared me a little bit. But still, I knew I had to stick with it. My time would come.
That was a home game?
On Pierce Pasture.
On a well-prepared pitch or what?
Yeah, I would think it was well-prepared.
That's something. No.
These guys were awesome. Tyson and Teddy and Tushy, and Malcolm Nelson. They were awesome. I can remember, in the little time that I have, let me speak. I can recall sometimes 3 and 4 teams would be coming on a Sunday to play against Piers. I remember a team they called Sabbath Breaker. I'm sure you guys remember that. Greer, Bill Abbott, and so on were on that team. You fellas remember?
They probably.
George Byam,
Yeah? And so on.
yes.
And
They say that that's the only place they can get a good practice fields
Spears,
when they come to play.
I remember.
And sorry, go ahead, that's your turn.
Yeah, so as a little boy, I watched in earnest, knowing my time will come, and I could not wait. A lot of people were afraid of the ball. I was not. I just knew. I remember this guy, Henville, Daniel. Adolphus Freeland played for Factory. That's the one. He's the one. And they came up there quite a number of times. And I can remember Freeland bounced to Henville Daniel. We call him Devil. And Devil just took him off his body, and I had to go and retrieve the ball from the Pierce band. I mean, and remember, Adolphus Freeland was an Antiguan fast bowler.
Yes.
So that was a big event. When you see Devil take him out of his body, it was, easily,
What was the crowd like?
Huh?
Was it the crowd?
Yeah, oh man, the people just were elated because to see him hitting Freeland.
Oh boy.
You're crazy. It was memorable. Again, I would say when my time came, it was during the Parish League. I was the only schoolboy that got to play on the Parish League team. It was the final match, I think, against All Saints with Curtin Thomas and those guys and so on. I got to, and funny enough, I remember me and Malcolm Nelson made top score because when I went in, Malcolm was in there, he said, "I'm dope," that's my nickname. "Don't play before the ball comes to you. They're not fast, they're running off as if they're fast, but they're not fast." Right? He said, Adrian Brathwaite, Mr. Brathwaite was an open bat for us, right? Yes. Mikey Claxton, all of them gave away the hit because Hardy, James,
Yes.
and Newton running in as if they're fast, but they're not fast. Just don't make a stroke before the ball comes. And I made the very mistake he told me not to do, and almost got out a shot like that. And after that, he said, "Just wait till the ball, you're going to drop and come off like paper." And sure enough, he said, "It's a dirt wicket. We're accustomed to a very fast wicket in Pierce." And don't come to a little thing about speed wicket too with Andy Roberts. Anyway, after that, I stood there and I started knocking ball, man. I knocked a six.
Hey, wait, top score.
24. No. Remember, it was about 5 wickets down for 25 runs,
I just asked you a top score.
I made 24, Messi made 24.
I want to some to you, right?
48.
We have a guy top score for over the match of time,
Huh?
I have a guy top score for over the time. I played against grammar school. He total was 2.
No.
I'm not sure the top score is.
I can remember.
Give me some better match,
No, it was 24.
Okay, let's
Me and
match
Messi.
together, right?
And we made 101 or something like that. All Saints went in, and they made 229, something else, if I remember correctly. The next day, it was a 2-day match. We went in and we batted better. Mikey Claxton made 60 something open bat. And we made 190 something and gave them about 70 runs to win. That Sunday, when we had Tushy and Nelson started cleaning up, all we could do was hit the stumps. Because no matter how much you appeal for leg before, the umpire would not give them out.
That was a wicket.
Yes, and we had all Saints. And boy, we had 4 for 20 and then 4 for 22. The umpire appealed for right. He didn't realize the umpire appealed for right, not the batsman. I remember. And he finished the match early. And then Parish League, the main match for Parish League came on, East against West. I remember Dr. Francis, State College, Alistair Francis. He came exhorting his fellows. The first time I saw Creole bowling, Andy Roberts bowling, boy, they cleaned us up big time. Man, I was 12th man.
I wasn't there for that.
And this fellow Mullen was an open bat for them. I mean, I missed the stump by half an inch. I could have run him out because he went down, actually way down the middle. And I picked up the ball quickly and missed the stop. They say, that is what saved them. But I was little, young schoolboy, playing among these guys, Teddy and the fellas. Now, just not to take too much time, the speed of that wicket, you had to be able to play pace to be able to play in Pierce Village. You had to be able to bat pace. You know who confirmed that? Sir Andy Roberts. And he told me, when he saw the potential of that wicket, after being with the West Indies Cricket Board, he suggested that they bring West Indies guys to practice on Pierce wicket. He said that reminds him of Perth in Australia. Right? Andy Roberts told me that. Because it was so fast. He said they just didn't take up the offer, but he can remember when Sherwin Campbell and those guys were throwing ball in and so on.
I don't know, that's a good statement to make. When Campbell started playing, so Pierce in cricket for 20 years. Pierce stopped playing for so long.
True.
So I don't know the picture is still relevant.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But during the time when Pierce was playing, Pierce had a famous pitch.
It was a lightning fast pitch.
I remember hearing that. I used to hear that.
Errol Samuel, my brother, yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
Yes,
go ahead, Tyson.
this pitch was built for King George V. That's why it would be like a test pitch
Yep.
with four or five strip.
Yep.
And we have to learn the makeup of how each one play.
Okay.
And that's for that. But in the earliest, when you were talking about Stanford, that team, about 6 of those guys went to England that time. The 200 runners, Tim Ira, the same Williams, Kelsey Cosman, Ronald Joseph, about 6 or 7. So Pierce didn't have a team going into that competition. After winning the championship, they went Cubs first and win the championship that year, and then all those guys went off to England. So when the league started, Pierce wasn't in it, but they put Pierce wicket in the competition. So Parham and Newfield, they will always meet at our level.
Okay.
And they come and see a nice strip because we are St. Peter's, we will always be on Parham's side. They think that we could pitch for Newfield to win, and they refuse to play. Now, Newfield wanted a scratch match. We didn't have a team, we didn't have people. So we just called some of the schoolboys, let's go get it here. And Newfield just take the ball and just blow us straight. And then after a Ralph Anthony, he make 100.
Ralph.
So,
Ralph.
yes. So the same gentleman who had 3 sons went to England, he tell me, tell him what it costs for 2 player batting pad, the keeping glove, keeping pad and bat, and he give me the money and the Saturday I go to, I think he's Dallas Martin or one of them place, and I purchased them deals. And the following year, we went into the competition and we beat every team in the competition. And also the team that earned Derek and killed them Sabbath breakers people that they bring.
Yep.
Any team come, get no. The only team that actually beat us premature when we didn't have a team was Newfield. When them they come just beating post for us. But we practice a lot. We play a lot of scrap. One day, Ottoman, one everything. Not only that, I'll go back, and I shouldn't be the one talking about me, because when Andy said that, he put his piece in too, because Steady's wife teach him at grammar school or whatever, and he said, you know, my teacher said, if you're in IT, I could make our rods off of me. So he said, all right, so we and I become good friends and telling you. But to tell you, we beat Rising Sun in St. Paul, I am the author. Cuba, I beat Barbados side with the only notable person that you can ever call, didn't play so well. And I play on the B team, captain the B team, would get it, and the A team, when the team people good, someone else didn't even skill them. Someone else is not more like twice the field. And I beat Barbados, and they were the one who tell me how Barbados people talk highly about me, about that particular match. So I have done a lot to play this, playing at Bethesda, and I already take my first spell. So I'm taking ball in a one, and I'm taking Wally and somebody batting good by the Empire. And Teddy father, Darrell Shepherd, the councilman, when he drive in, see the background and comfortable come, he said, Tyson, take the ball. I said, he's your son, he's the captain. He said, take the captain away from him. Just imagine. He said, take the captain from his son. And I just go on a ball. Cricket, it just, I love it, and because of the people that I watch Dalfus, I watch Antonison, and I said, but they're not really better than Swans. So that means I was just in line with them.
Okay, but
and most likely, watching this one, won't tell you now, because I think he was at the same Rising Sunday. He noticed how I played the ball late. I said, well, I picked it up from Colin Country.
Okay, you hold it last word, because we want to find out from you and our our studio guests as to whether or not players have got a good chance to even play on the national team. After we come back from just a little break, just to let people know of our partners, the persons and the people and the companies that have made Talking Parish League possible. And that is ACB Caribbean, of course, Simply Smarter Banking Business, and they are situated at the corner of Thames and St. Mary Street. Also, Blue Mountain Water from Mega Stores distributors. Also, Cecil Charles Group of Companies, Jewish Pharmacy, Seco, and also Hutchison for all the medical needs and care. You can get that at Seco Pharmacy. They're situated on High Street. And Hutchison for Pinewood Juices, and they are on the Old Factory Road. Along with Brands for Less, who cater for women, men, and children. You get all the top quality products, and you get them for less prices, along with plumbing and electrical. And they are situated on the Potters Main Road. Yes, now tell us, Tyson.
Yeah.
Tell us, what did you think of maybe selectors, or how was the system? Did your players get a fair shake? The Pierce Village players in your time, did they get a fair shake at making the national team?
Well, I get picked twice and just being 12 months for no reason. I reached down Fatiga. From first one I was playing against Bermuda, and Sally's telling me that Antonison said he was going to play this youngster like I was old. I still like 20. Batman Donowa. Donowa playing me again because he was good, and I left playing like the 12 man. Twice. Then I get to go to Manchester for the first country level that day. And like people know you will pick. That's how I see. If they don't know you, because then after a while a few of the teams wanted me to play with them. And I just stick with Trojan because I think Earl was one of the most fierce cricketer until I've ever seen. Earl Michael.
But I want to pick up on something you just said about Tyson, because you said you get a pick of a country league, but
yeah.
I can tell you something about that. There's a man who died just using the Tushy body, and the car was David. He told me, from Seaton's, he told me that Ed Mead, her father, was one of the guys who started Country League, along with Mr. Edwards from Liberta.
Len Samuel.
You know what I mean? So I didn't know about the history. They started the Country League. He was the secretary. Mr. David over that. He was supposed to come on the show, but when he was supposed to come, he kind of sick, and now he died in Canada. You know, so I didn't get an opportunity to bring him on the show to talk about these things. And he also told me to.
Wait, say man, who died in Canada?
Clarence David.
Louis David's
David's brother.
from Sydney. From
From
Seedens.
Seedens.
From Stephen.
Yeah. But
And guess when
He's much
I think it was
he much
older than you and the
Yeah.
other guys.
So what that old person, he would tell me that I didn't even know, sitting man that I am, that cricket was played at Passmore Estate. That was a big field where the big cricketers from town and towns used to play. Come and play Passmore. Even Mervin's father, Danny Mitchell, matter of fact, he said Danny used to live up there with Harkins. I didn't even know again things. And they tell him my uncle was such a great father, was a man named Douglas. He was better, he tell Douglas was better than Antonison, so I never do think about these kind of things.
well, no, I have no
I don't know,
idea
but that was Clarence' opinion. You know, but he said he played on the cricket in England and all that, but we didn't get the opportunity to bring him on the show to talk about these things. Okay, but what I remember most of all, he said, my father was part of the man who started the Country League.
It's true.
And so, so Pierre's involved in his organization to his village cricket. But
Well, yes.
I'll find something for you to the Tyson, because I know Edwin mentioned it first about Sabbath breakers. What people don't understand, know, what people fail to, what a lot of people don't know, in the old days, cricket wasn't played on Sundays. So it went too holy. So playing cricket, so playing cricket, that's where people got in their Sabbath breakers.
That's where it comes from, yeah.
That's where people got in
Okay.
their Sabbath breakers.
Okay.
Hey, they play cricket on Sunday and so forth, the only English is them, but only in the days. True. So that's why they got the name Sabbath breakers, like everybody is up.
The breakers, yeah.
But when the village league started, the games are played on Sundays.
Okay.
Everybody, parents cook, and they come down to the park 3-4 o'clock. The village come and support. Sundays, that's when they come to play. And the whole village come and support you. You cook, you eat your food, and you come to watch cricket. Them guys tell you that.
Talk to the mic.
Yeah, they support you. Come, you have your supper early, and you come down and support the guys in the village.
So when I get the blood, it's supposed to tell? When I get the blows?
Oh yeah. They're always there. Win, draw, lose.
The blow is not for long. The blows don't shake too long.
I knew you said that. I knew you said that, and that's why I said so. I knew you would say that.
When you play, did you have following? Did you come, did you leave page to come and follow you guys where you guys played?
Yes, yeah.
A few, not as many.
Not as many because
You maybe get a bus.
transportation at the time was
at
not
the time, so.
that great, you know.
Yeah.
But they support you in different ways. But they don't really follow you that much.
On a point that you made asking about if we think there are people who could have represented
Antigua.
at the national level. Yes, there are. I remember Adrian Duffield.
We get a chance.
He did play for Antigua. But also Malcolm Nelson.
Tyson brother-in-law.
Oh, okay, right.
You get a chance.
Yes, that's true, his brother-in-law.
Get a chance.
Yeah, right, his brother. I remember Malcolm Nelson. Malcolm Nelson at one point played with All Saints, with Curtin Thomas and them, and so on. They went on to Barbados. And he did wonders in Barbados, from what I heard. The same team came to Antigua, played in recreation grounds. Charlie Griffith was there, Colin Blades, this guy, Nolan Clark, and so on. And I remember this fellow, Ted Isaac was she mid-off. After Nelson bowled, he bowled medium pace, right?
They were Isaac and Ted
Ted Isaac, who used to be a Jolly Beach. Right. He was at mid-off. After Malcolm Nelson did he medium spell, got a few wickets. He went to bowl his leg spin, and he got Charlie Griffith caught at mid-off, right there. I remember Ted Isaac took the catch. When they asked Charlie Griffith afterwards, what did he think of Nelson? He said he never saw a paceman being also a spinner, so he underestimated him.
Yeah.
The next day, what's his name? Derek, King Derek, Derek Michael. They had Nelson in the Antigua team for the next day now, because it was supposed to be against the national team, the same team, again the next day. Nelson was scheduled in the team. Unfortunately, he didn't show up.
Because that was going to be my next
But why didn't show up? But why didn't show up?
I think he said if he didn't do that well in against Barbie, the Barbie's team, they wouldn't have considered him.
That makes sense to you.
I didn't really like me, you know.
That's the reason why they get
So I don't understand the language.
No, he was that good before.
The question that I asked earlier, because everybody's skirting is around, that if they think the people from Get a Fair Shot, I would say no.
Okay.
They did not. They did not get a fair shot. He's right.
Because you see, for instance, take myself. When I had to come to town.
Okay. That's why we want to get.
True.
Yeah.
That's why we want
No, you have to come to town. Then-
Yeah.
And that's why I say, remember when I started the program, I said that we have to remember that there are people
Yeah.
Yeah,
that came before us that do things, set things in India. And a lot of current people don't think so. They think it started with them. But they're trailblazers, like Tyson and these guys and other people that set it for you and go.
Yep.
There are a lot of skillful guys. I mean, everybody think that they can make the side, but you have to get the chance first.
But tell me something.
Yeah.
Did the players want that? Or
The
they
players?
were just good that, yeah, did the players
Want to
did you
go
think
for-
that could have made it
Yeah.
on the national level? Did
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
they would have been happy.
Okay.
They would have been happy to know
That's
they were
still well.
at that level, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because some people just, you know, they have the talent and they play and they
Yeah.
play good
I
at it.
hear you.
Well, you have some
I'm
guys like that.
interested. You can see.
Yeah.
So I just want to know if they wanted it back.
Yeah, maybe not everybody, but there are players who, you know, want it, and you want it so bad, so he had to say he used to play for Chokers.
And the frequency
You come to town,
with
we'll
which
see you more.
those town teams came to Piers, they recognized that there was a lot of talent there. In Tyson's time, oh man, they recognized it. The Earl Michaels and so on, they did recognize it. Of course.
Well, what do you think now, in terms of the community, peers? With all these players gone before them, you know, with cricket and football and stuff like that, what do you think?
I'm glad you asked that question. What do you think of now?
Yeah.
It's kind of disgraceful, in my estimation, what has happened over the years and the decline in the sporting arena for peers in particular. One of them, I must say, migration has caused a great deal of the decline, no doubt about it. I went to the States, she went to Canada, and quite a few people, of course Tyson went to the Virgin Islands and so on. And if I may say, that had an enormous amount of, a lot to do with it, migration.
Big gap.
A big gap. And after guys like Tyson left, and then it was on our shoulders, Tushy and I left,
I got cut out now.
and the interest among the younger generation just didn't seem to
Ladies and gentlemen,
to carry on. So sometimes I regretted having left, because I remember leaving. I
that turned off.
coming back.
No, ladies and gentlemen, they were talking and then you just
Necessarily coming back right away. Unfortunately, for Tushy having left and most of us, you know, at that time having left, it created a great deal of decline in the prowess, sporting prowess of peers.
Well, to say sport team ago, after you left, you had a great football team.
True.
Cricket, but they started while we were there.
Oh, you know, football side.
And Taddy, I will say, you know that football, preparing to play football doesn't take the time that cricket.
That's cricket.
And that is true. I don't want to make anybody feel bad, but I find the younger generation,
They don't have the discipline.
no, but they're lazy too.
They're lazy.
They want everything given to them on a platter. You know? You remember Tyson was saying before, I remember in their days and in our time, this same pond that you hear him talk about.
Yeah.
We used to have to go in the morning. You get the water. You water the
Wet the
pitch.
pitch.
Then you come in the afternoon, you have to roll it.
Roll it.
Before you start playing any cricket. And I tell people sometimes, not everybody, but I figure, putting more work into something,
Gives more
it helps you.
satisfaction.
Because we used to have a saying that when we finish putting in all this work, if whoever bats first, and they son us, oh, we have to work hard. We say, when we go into bat, we're going to return the same favor to them.
Yep.
So because you put in all this work, you don't want to just go and...
That's why Tyson didn't want to move out the wicket.
Yeah, you love your hits, you love your game. You know what I mean? It's different, and not that your gains progress, and the guy is coming with their bag and everything is there. But it's a development attitude. It's like if I'm a batsman, I come and I bat, I want to finish, I don't want to feel. And you know that kind of thing. In our day, you do everything.
Everything.
You do everything.
True.
So,
Sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
so I say this so relevant. I can tell you why I said that. Because my good friend, the guy Michael Camacho, and then Viv Richards. Nobody will more pitch than them, you know.
they do what?
They will the most pitch.
Yeah.
When they come match day.
That was the
And
plan.
because they want to play the batting, they want to make sure bowlers get their assistance. I can tell you something. I worked a plan with a good friend, a guy named Dave Jones in Surrey. The man very good, he will make the runs at the house. I said, I'm going to tell you something, right? I said, tell you, you can't prepare a pitch. You do the most of the roll, let me watch you. When they roll in the runs, you don't want to get out it. But after you start make sense straight.
Okay.
Good hard work, sir. You appreciate the hard work.
It's true. You know?
So it's so right, Toshi.
Yeah.
When you put it on. But you said that football is easy work.
Yes.
Cricket is discipline and hard work.
Yeah, discipline.
I always
Indeed.
said when I left home and went away, I said, because I left some gears and so with Anderson and he stayed there. But I always said I never thought that players would stop playing football because it's less work.
Yeah.
And they were at the stage, you know, the foundation was laid. So I figured they would have continued. And one of the things we used to do, and I'm sure you guys did too before, you may have a village team, and I have a friend that's from Parham, a very good player, and you can get him to come over, because if Parham doesn't have a team, you can get him to come and play for your team, especially if we're playing against a team from the city, because you're getting the best. So you want to get the best. And we keep the game alive that way. We used to have guys from Willikes, Harry, Josiah, Tyson.
Harry, that drive bus?
Yes, that one of us.
Not Josiah, Harry, yeah.
Cornelius,
yes.
that's the name.
That's it, yeah.
No, I'm just telling them about when we were playing, if we had a friend from a neighboring village that's very good, and that village doesn't have a team, we'll get them, they'll come and play for players, or we will go and play for them, depending on who is...
If I may add here, Tyson, I'm sure you remember, of course, I like to mention the guys like you and Teddy and Hitler, the big hitter, who used to hit ball hard for Twapeles. I have to mention Russell, right? I have to mention guys like that, because when I watch you and those guys performing against Willikes, I remember a guy they called Krapokin from Willikes.
Oh, you carried him?
Krapokin. And when he realized Tyson and fellas tearing into Willikes, he appealed for light. He said, the wicked dark.
Wait.
Run out the wicked.
Everybody appeal for light against Pierce. When sun him shine bright or
Listen, it's fire from Tyson and guys are fast, fast, and the wicket is fast. So you have to be good to be bat. You have to bat. You crazy?
Yeah, but which community
We get the most competition.
that gave you guys a good run for your money?
Cricket,
No, like a team that you say, boy.
I'd say All Saints.
All Saints, okay.
Yeah. And
You would agree, Tyson? You can tell us, you know.
Yeah.
Well, no, Tushy, Tushy Tyson, yeah, we were dim, you see?
okay.
But
Yeah.
they took
Yes, Frank, and you got Skipper and them guys, and like Anderson said earlier, when you're playing it out, saying you get certain guys that don't get LBW. It's true. I don't knock a stump out, you take a catch, you know?
Yeah.
You guys know Skipper have a forward defensive shot that he uses the top of his spot to keep the ball out all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you remember him. And he doesn't get out LBW playing at home, you know? So these are some of the things that you have to fight against. Not only in the cricket, but they have a feisty crowd that watch them.
Since I was a crow.
They get involved, you know. Sometimes they want to beat you. I used to tease Newton because we work together, and I say, "You guys don't only want to beat us in the game, but you want to beat us physically."
It's true.
So tell us, which team was your big rival?
Your big rival, your team.
Our service particular, relatives, but us, Param only have vengeance, but they're not good.
How about Frank and Ray going on?
They're not good, they don't have enough people to good enough.
You're right. Those are two that stood out, but they didn't have
Yes.
enough.
Remember Frank?
You're right.
No.
Frank came over and played for Pairs for a while.
But you remember them
He and Charlie used to open for us.
yeah,
Charlie Van Tyree.
Charlie Van Tyree.
Yeah.
Nicholas.
Hickey,
Hickey. Right.
Hickey, yes.
I know Hickey, man. I know Hickey.
Yeah. Ian Frank.
I know Hickey very well.
But you see, like, we guys live and leave peers, and peers in our team is the same thing when those guys before me went to England.
Right.
But there is a godfather who willing to see us go.
No.
Because the year before they went to England, they win the championship. And he gave me the money to get theirs. And he find a leader in me, and I lead the team.
That was Uncle Garnett.
Yeah, Uncle Garnett. And then in turn, remember, Anderson, I promised I would send some gears.
Yes.
But the guys in them, you know, he didn't went far enough. I don't know what happened.
We did get a few.
Yeah, I remember.
We did, yes. Yes, we did get some water hoses to run from the pipe to start wetting because I wanted to revive it again. Unfortunately, it was heartrending to see I had some little youngsters, even one, a young man from, his mother was from Willikes, but they lived in the village. I saw that guy walking barefoot, but he was one-handedly taking catches behind the wicket, you know, and the guy was no more than seven years old. And one-handedly on the left side taking, I said, Tal, he has potential. And I started moving. The next thing you know, they cut off the water, so we're not using government water to do that. And that killed the entire, revival of the, I was, even years later, but the same guys were asking me, when are we going to start up again? It's unfortunate.
Send me this, they cut out the water. But there has to be a reason. Maybe people want
So, you know, I just didn't go away. I tried.
What happened when people using water to wash their vehicles up? That's why you cut you off. But I want to say something to Tyson.
Yeah.
Because I heard that mention about the team that was your fiercest rival. I want to be the Willikes. I can tell you why. Okay, Willikes beat you. And the pass you pays every day. They're going to be some kind of fantasy.
No, you see, Willikes are always scout out one or two space guy to play for them, like Charlie play for them. I play for Willikes and all time too. Russell play for them, so they know we're good. And then we will back Willikes against any other team.
Yeah, of course.
See, like, Belford Hunt throw to them from when inside they had a good team. But most of the time, people beat you by 2-1s or 7 wicket, 2-1. That's how we have beat people. Not straight to beat. We beat you convincingly.
You beat the guy.
even though they leave and you see me beat them, they really wouldn't mad with us. They know real good.
Good. True.
But Tyson, Wilkie's got a very good team coming on, moving forward. You remember, you had left home, where you get some of him. This guy Costa, Joseph,
Oh yeah,
he went to St. Croix.
Well, he was my bowling partner against Barbados. He kept fighting.
He's a very, very good.
Get four.
Okay.
Costa. You have the
Costa,
guy, you have
good
the
bowler.
Martin. Mrs. Martin
Yes.
by Uncle Joe's,
As a young wicketkeeper.
got the nickname wicketkeeper, open bat. Very good bat.
Yeah, but I just
I think you
say something about it. No, he played, one of us played for the same team down here. But then we played against a team with two Wilkie's guy open batsmen. And I have a way, just like a draft, I must move out my batsman. If you get a chance, I get your fight. But that's my aim to move. And when I go into Cannon, and Cannon on the line, and Cannon was there. Very good batsman. Oh, I go edge behind and see, can put him down. I said, that's a willful drop. Because you're no, too much of a keeper. To drop that type of straight forward. Because I go the other way, so I lift it and you push forward, easy catch.
So doesn't that happen sometimes, you know? The catch was so easy, you get off. But
The only thing can happen.
You thinking that he put it down willfully?
Not, let me show you what thing can happen. I was at factory, bowling to trouble. Trouble, edge behind. And umpire said no. Said wow. When I went to bat, I edged behind and the same umpire said no.
Oh, yeah?
So the keeper will take the catch because they're straightforward catcher. Keeper don't drop them type of catch.
So it's a long time you had game tampering.
Yes.
We have a keeper here, you know. We have a keeper here, Taddy's a keeper.
Yeah.
So be careful what you say about the keeper.
Well, no, Taddy and I have all this. We go down our and the lip, but we're still very good friends.
That is so, you know? Yeah. That is so good friend.
So you don't think he would drop any catch purpose?
No, that was good. And let me tell you, I have books with even kids, basketball, netball, soccer, you name it, all them books I have. Oh, guys, I'm trying to trouble some, guys, I'm too much now. And when I see a team, one of kids netball team, the girls and them look so innocent. And like with turkey wing broken, you know, there's a hand on the side. And the opposing team celebrating, those kids. And the word that they said, the PS team throws them, but because we are accustomed to practice, that's the theory of PS, practice. Simple as that.
All right, we're going to come right back to talk more with the peers stalwarts here about sports in the community, just to let our viewers and our listeners also know that this particular our partners that have made Antigua Parish talking Antigua Parish League, and also talking sports, I must add, which comes on Mondays from 5 until 6:30, and we're asking our viewers also to tune in to hear Talking Sports. I will be your host, but of course our partners who have made all this possible is ACB Caribbean, Simply Smarter Banking, and of course you've heard that they've been in banking for over 63 years and have a great relationship with Antigua Parish for over 43 years counting. So also Blue Mountain Water from their distributors, mega distributors, and they are on American Road. Cecil Charles group of companies, Jewish Pharmacy, Seco, which is situated here on High Street along with Hutchison, agents for Pine Hill Juices, and they are on the Factory Road. Also plumbing and electrical for all your plumbing.
We're talking about getting that.
Yeah, just across this main road along with Brands for Less. And they are also here on High Street. Yes, we were just talking about, now what do you think it will take, guys, to get cricket started again or to get sports? Because what we have seen is that, yes, we have seen a decline in some of the communities that, you know, teams who were once in the Premier Division have left for some reason or the other, right? But they are back, right? Except Peers. So what do you think is needed to get, you know, these young people interested again in football and cricket?
Tushi?
Just
You
wait.
go first. You go first. You go first.
Wait. Tushi,
No, because-
why you should go first?
No, because
We migrated before you.
yeah.
So you
But
should
I made a good
have
point that the water that you spoke about earlier, right?
Yeah, that is a fact, and it is a
I see
fact.
most of the young people up there are more interested in cars,
Cars.
right? So when Teddy made the point about water, wash out cars and stuff like that, right?
It's true.
My mind flashed back there.
It
to
is true.
Why the water is being cut off, but what do you think is needed or it will take to get them interested in? Because you have a school, Parish Secondary, and you have Parish
Primary.
Go ahead.
where you can get most of your players from.
Go
What do you
Tushi.
think?
Well, I'm going to answer you. Start with Parish Secondary School. I think that the government, maybe the sports department, you work for them, could do a little bit more. And the village does not have a cricket team now, but the park is there, the wicket is there, and you have Parish Secondary that's using that park. I think if the sports department do something, because I'm sure you know that there are Archibald, there are quite a few players that come through and play for Antigua and go on, that come to Parish Secondary.
That's right.
Okay? The park is wide open, except for two sides, and there are a lot of stories that you hear when they were fencing fields and blah, 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 right? Now the place is breaking down, but going back to what I'm talking about, there's nothing there. And like I said earlier, when we were there, we would get our parents' lawnmower or what have you, and we go and we cut the grass. You have to have the players who are hungry and who love the game,
Love the community. Yeah.
and love the community. It's not doing something for personal gain. It's for your community. And like Anderson said earlier, it's really hard to watch what's going on now or what's not going on when we grew up and see these guys before us. We left our mark there, and you come back now,
You see the
and you see
decline.
nothing is happening. I've tried since I come back for football, and guys tell you they love the game, but when you ask them for $5 to pay to cut the grass so that they can have a nice surface, they don't have any money. But if they want something else, they'll find it, find money. So how do you love the game, but you don't want to make a sacrifice?
Right.
See? Sponsors are good. Sponsorship is good. But some people take it that if you're my sponsor, you got to give me everything. You know?
It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way.
No, you come with a
You got to put in some work. You have help. This person, that person is helping you to make your load lighter. You can't just sit back and say, well, okay, they must pay to cut the grass. You know, they bring oranges for us, and this is football we're talking now, for the games and different things. But you got to pay your dues, so that when there are other things to be done, the club has money to take care of these things. You know, and these are some of the things that
Is a lot of
the
things-
comment. Yeah, it's a lot of things this generation don't see.
Very good friend, Tushi.
I mean, in
Yeah.
football, right? I vote the road the teams. And nobody pays for to be a member of the club, you know, anymore. You know.
Well, what-
The sponsor pays for everybody.
And that's unfortunate.
After we left.
It's-
See,
it's-
my good friend Mervyn.
Again, it comes with discipline and commitment, which are sadly lacking today. And the passion for what you're doing, whether it's football or cricket, the passion for it. I mean, most guys I see would prefer to sit down on the corner and do their smoking, and they don't have that passion like we had. To bring it back, like, I mean, you're going to have people who are committed and try to impart to them, even try to tell them, listen, look at the glorious days that we used to have. Why not bring back that sort of passion to the fore, and let us bring back the glory to peers that it once had. It is tough. It is tough. I mean, believe me, I have gears still for cricket. I have gears in a barrel, just waiting for, you know, to start again. But my age now, I still have the passion for it. But am I going to get the support? The support mechanism, is it there? As Tushi also said, what can the government do to bring back, okay, into schools competition and make, okay, peers one of the grounds for it, knowing what it had before, what it was like, what it is, and what it can be, right? We need the support from the government, not the total support, as Tushi said. When you get a sponsor, they expect the sponsor to do everything. No, there has to be personal commitment towards the entire effort. And that's the only way we can be successful. I would love to see more inter-schools competition, right? But again, everybody must play their part. The government, personal, you know, personal commitment also, and I think we can bring it back. I can remember when grammar school used to, in football, against PM, against academy, and I mean, the rivalry was so supreme that we had, I mean, the passion. You know, I remember when Scout was fullback for Empire. I remember grammar school beat Empire 1-0 on a wet day. It's etched in my memory. I mean, the passion, and you remember Jake, he used to have school boys dressed in white shorts and so go support grammar school. We need that sort of environment again. That will help.
Listen, Tushi.
You're going to say something, Tushi?
Yeah, what I'm saying, I think they have inter-schools competition.
They do.
I'm telling you, one of the things that blew me away, a couple of years ago, I think it's just before COVID, Piers was in a league, but they had to go somewhere else to play their home game. You know?
Because
Yeah.
wasn't prepared.
The pitch wasn't prepared and all.
So I went there one day and said, where do you guys play? I hear you guys, your names are coming over the radio. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because you see nothing happening on the pitch.
That's one way to start. Sorry. This one way to really start to decentralize the whole sports, right? Instead of everybody coming to town to play again, we need town people to go to the country. People in the community to come out and support their own.
Precisely.
Right?
Perfect. Let me just give a history of the story, but don't give history of the story just so the way, okay? You have me laughing away now. Just laughing away. Okay? I was the one who put water at PS Field.
Okay.
Now I'm just going to prepare a pitch. And PS man, I go use the pitch. PS school. So all this passion story. You know what the passion nonsense, right? I can tell you one of the things, you know. Most of the guys who go PS school don't really come from PS now.
True. No.
So PS man get no team, you know. But PS need, when me told me wanted to have a cricket team in PS, the first question I asked him, how many players you have?
For PS.
For PS. Okay, that's the biggest issue. How many players do you have from peers to form a team? It's nice to say I want a team, you know. It's nice to say I want a team, but you have to have players.
True.
You have to have players. Because the pitch and so, at the time when I was there, was nothing. Okay, we used to go prepare the pitch. At the time, peers, secondary school had coaches there, you know. But they didn't go practice in the field, you know. They practice only a part of the school, I was told. So they never said this doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? But there's one thing that was said was good, which Tushi said too, which I've been pushing for about over 20 years now. Start a primary school competition again. Yep, primary school.
Primary school level.
Here's where we find some young guys maybe from peers school, peers primary. Like I want to be the majority of guys that go to primary come from peers. I want to believe so. I don't know that for a fact. But what happens? If you get some guys from PS primary, even if they don't come from PS, okay, what happened to Mervyn? If a guy from Seaton's going to PS primary and he's doing well, senior chair in the team, no, with the kids, no. So if your guys have a peers, it's easy to get your peers guy to play in your team and give him that kind of security if you get to play. Yeah, when you don't get played, go back, you know. To teach you know that any young boy,
Peers living in peers. What do you think?
To be honest, I don't
I'd
know
say-
most of the people.
So that
I'd say about maybe 70-30 peers,
peers,
people, and generational things.
Yeah.
But one of the things that used to work before is playing cricket, not just hardball. You have people playing softball.
Yep.
And as you come forward, there's some guys that we used to have some very good guys at playing softball,
Softball.
but they don't like the hardball.
True.
So they drop off.
Yeah.
It's
But
true.
the guys who love it, you're playing softball and you make the
Transition to-
and you're playing cricket
Yes.
and you go
Yes.
forward. And that may be one of the ways that we have to get them interested again, playing cricket. You don't like the ball, the hard ball, but you're playing cricket from 5 to 10, 11.
Yeah.
You got 25 guys playing and you lose 10. You got 15 guys, that's going
True.
forward.
But we
Yeah.
used to say that we used to say that Antigua it was a cricketing nation,
True.
Not-
but now
It
we
used to
need
be.
to move to a nation that plays cricket. There's a difference because when we were growing up, we had these old cases,
The wooden cases.
in the
Anything,
road,
anything,
in the sidewalk,
Yeah.
anywhere you go,
Anything.
Yeah.
beach, any little place that have a little strip,
Yeah.
cricket,
Those
cricket.
Coconut ball bat and
Coconut ball and all kind of things.
Two, three
Playing
friends.
not with balls, but with cans or stones, something.
anything.
But
Golf ball
that
even.
was here before social media.
So,
And, yeah.
okay.
I can tell you, like, I took my grandson to the farm a few times. And we go into the farm and in the vehicle and he's on his cell phone. And I said, open the gate for me. Yeah, and so open the gate, they come back in the vehicle.
Cell phone.
And
Different
we're watering some things. And so he water one bottle, gas on his phone again. So I'm saying to you, they are going to the cell phone and social media. That's why I said to you, if you get them at the primary school level, get them to like the game
True.
early.
What form do you think at the primary level, like the tip and run, that kind
No, really.
That
Not
can be.
Get them to play. They're too shaky to serve ball.
yeah.
Get them to play. Get them to, first of all, to love the game.
Damn.
Get the interest in the game. Because hard, when I played, I don't know the story there, because I keep telling the story, I keep telling the story. I think where they were in India, after that the Indian news are come to me. And they're trying to find a young guy, some kind of mischief he might have done. He was about 13 or something like that. And they're trying to find him, they're still trying to find him in Mumbai. They couldn't find him somewhere in Delhi. He played a 4-day match. 13 years old. Playing a 4-day match. Here's a 4-day. No, I'm saying to you, can you imagine if I played a 13 playing a 4-day match? Some said that's when they got a great guys. Because they start from young, playing a lot of cricket.
Yep.
This is where they develop the skills. They will cricket. So get them started early. So when they get to really primary, PS primary and then secondary. Secondary, have a lot of good players coming through now. Because you have another 5 years in secondary now. If you have some good coaching, you have a lot of good guys coming through now. If, like Tushi said, you might start at 25, but if you have a team at 15 guys, you might 5 good guys from Antigua. You might have 5 good guys from Antigua from PS.
Yeah.
And let's use other teams as an example. 4 from this village, 4 from the school, 4 from the school. You have too many guys. But that's what I want. Because Tushi, you will know. When we played, there were plenty good guys on Antigua. Plenty good guys.
But you see like how some of these information that you're giving us about all these past players and peers, right? Isn't there some way you could compile something, and even
Maybe Tyson all the books, maybe Tyson can compile something.
copies at the school
He
of
keep
persons who are from peers so that
he keep a lot of
Tyson got all the records. Tyson man for that.
he keep a lot of records.
if you understand what I'm
Yes,
saying,
yes,
that when
yes.
they come to the school, they will see
Like you
these people who are from peers and all.
What they do is
what
These are the legends, yes.
So
Yes.
they get to know
Yeah.
persons and so who were there first. Not
Plus
say
two.
that they think that they started with them.
With them. Plus another thing too. Two other things I'd like to mention. You have a lot of other sports when we were growing up, it's just cricket
Yeah.
and football at a later time, and
And netball.
a
too.
little bit, those are small percentage. And tennis, road tennis.
Hand tennis.
Eh?
Hand tennis.
Yeah. Well, even with some guys get racket, some racket to make it road because your parents don't have no money to go send you to the. Now I look on the TV and I see so many children playing tennis and that kind of thing. So, but anyway, going back, we were just cricket, and
It was in our blood.
you know. So that's all we do. You find your neighbor, you find a buddy, three you go, and you just play.
Just start
find a
to play.
spot. After playing that spot for 2 days, the cricket pitch is already made. No, it's just made.
The wheel
That's
to the
because
pitch.
you just keep playing. And then when you go to school, like you were saying, you get to reach a 50-minute break, you can practice after
But tell me
school.
something, what about basketball? Do they play basketball up there?
They used to, but
Because you know there was a Luby, you know? There was a Luby guy who made on the professional,
Yeah, but he, I think his thing was done in North America.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is the blood of somebody from Pillars.
Yeah,
If you say blood, your speedy clocks then.
Yeah.
Well,
that's Steven's son. Steven's son.
Yeah, but guys, remember,
I'm telling you how much your background is. Yes.
it is true. Those guys were born in North America, where they, like how we used to breed cricket before. That's all they do now. Basketball. And there are thousands of guys, and they only get 100.
True.
I remember the same guy, Luby, you know.
Yeah.
We brought a scout down to have a look at some of the young aspiring basketball players at YMCA.
Yeah.
You know, and they had guys who were good, you know, doing all kind of fancy things, you know. And when Luby walked in, the coach stopped looking
Right
at the game and looking back at Luby.
Yeah.
Right? And said, what about him? He said, you don't play basketball. He said, no, it's okay. He has the hype. We'll teach him.
interesting.
Those who you were watching there, they have a million of them in the States. But they didn't have the tower. And that is when he started
Playing the game.
after that, you know.
It happens.
But I mean, if he didn't have a sporting background,
Background too, yes. Probably fall off the.
It's knowledge son?
Knowledge
knowledge.
who was a goalkeeper for
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Then he went on and he played in Europe.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And got a scholarship, got education out of it.
Right.
I didn't know that.
So, some of these are things that you have to compile and put together. Right, Tyson?
But Merv, 1 minute here.
You guys can come.
One other thing, yeah. It's it's economics too. Economics have a lot to do with it.
Oh, yes.
Because I know of a few persons, I'm not going to call them, that since I come back here, that love the game. I used to think that they love the game. But they involve in, they're involved in taking care of their gardens and, they have to sell their produce to get money to supplement their little income and blah, blah, blah. So they don't have this time.
The time.
And getting the guys to play, but you need guys in the organization who can agree to give the time and everything and work on these youngsters, work on them.
Tushi has a key point.
Yeah.
That's very important. Very important.
It is.
Yeah.
Because look, tell you, in basketball, you can get a scholarship, right? So those girls who used to play netball, they finding themselves now playing basketball, women basketball, because there's no scholarship in cricket in those old British schools, right?
Yeah.
Like cricket, right? And netball. So you find all those players who could be potential cricketers,
Transition.
right? It's making the transition to be in basketball
But,
and soccer.
But I don't think that is exactly true, I don't know if Merv says exactly true. Okay, if you have an under 13 or under 15 team, some of the schools in England do have the potential if you have the connection.
Well, no, yeah. No.
So I have done that to a couple of guys, so I know.
Okay.
And they have been barbarians too.
Yeah.
You have some Bajans too have done that.
Yeah.
So if you have good guys identified under 13 and under 15, they can go to secondary school in England
Yeah.
and go into cricket and get the education one time too. So it can happen in cricket, but you have to have Connections.
Yeah.
That will really, yeah. So Tyson, we're going to be questioning you all the records of all those people, giving us the stats
Can you keep
of
stats?
their performance and their contribution to your community, so that we can have something to put into the Pierce Secondary and the Pierce Primary School to know all the stalwarts that have gone before them. We're going to ask you for those information. What do you think?
You hear me?
You can hear
Now
now.
we can hear you. Yes,
Yeah.
now we can hear you.
Okay. As a start, the Parish Union book, you can get something out of it,
Okay.
and then we'll follow up from there.
Okay.
Okay.
But
But before you leave, is there anything that you would like to leave with us? Leave with us, you know? Leave with us here. I mean, you know, something that you kept close to your chest that you didn't want to release. You can release it now.
I think this is a start, and I do appreciate you guys for having me on, and thanks a lot.
Welcome to the club. I'm glad to see you.
And
Tyson.
I mean, you got to also write those information down why you're looking so good. You gotta keep it with you. You gotta keep it with you all the time. You gotta share it with us.
Yeah.
You're looking great.
Well, we have to talk to each other now.
Captain,
Yes.
I know when we had the reunion, you did not win that one award,
What's the word?
sports award. I never had a chance to talk to you about it, but Samuel came out ahead because he was in the three sports. You know, you were primarily cricket. He was cricket, football, and then golf.
Yeah.
You see, and well, yeah, groundsman. He used to do groundswork too when he was there.
Yeah.
They left and never was there.
The Texans didn't go.
Yeah, he's
Wait.
yeah.
That's supposed to get all the kids to prepare a bad picture of the man there, man. That's supposed to get all
Let me say something else. Let me say something else here. I want to add something to that game that you are talking about, playing against Freetown.
Yeah.
For what I remember you guys used to work for the Mill Reef Club.
Yeah.
And at that time, the guy Brody was a up-and-coming fast bowler. And I remember you telling me that when you go to work, they were saying that Brody was going to do this and Brody was going to do that, and he is better than you and Teddy. That's one of the
Yes.
reasons why we decided to get that green top for them.
Well, it's like two pitchers.
Yes.
We have bunks, real
Faster
good
than
carry.
others. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And I remember
And
we
that's
fixed it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened to all saints likewise.
Yeah.
Because they say when they beat them at kids, they say they're going to knock us down at our sin.
Yeah.
And look who get knocked down for the stairs. Taking that You see?
So I always say we're getting short of time. I always say when you're playing cricket,
Yeah.
don't give the fast bowler any incentive.
No.
Come at you. You know, don't tell him I used to play with a Jamaican guy and he used to tell the fast bowler, you can't knock my stump and the kind of thing. And then he goes in and he gets one ball, his stump knockout, and then he's mad with the crowd and the rest of his teammates. And he was a good player, you know. But he just he spur you on and say
No, he didn't.
Wait, Tushy,
No, you should talk.
you remember this guy? You remember?
I know about Taddy and Fruit, they were free to come back. But deals happen, you know what I mean? So they get you guys to that stage of being angry. And you had the wicket through it. So that's why they couldn't finish the game.
Well, it's not angry because one of them ministers said if you're angry, you can't play sport victorious.
Yeah.
You have to focus.
Yes.
And You know, and I observe it a lot when guys playing soccer, particularly. Anytime you really you kick a ball, you're not in place to get the ball. But we have a guy named, I think he named Conscience, come down here for past for vacation.
So we know him, yeah.
I said, well, no, we have played down. I come, he knocked both Tyson and Tushy, tell him, he said, listen, the only people that knock both Tyson and Teddy and Tushy the throw. Can Teddy can make one, Tushy can make one, and me can make one. But I like to boast and not like that.
People always say that.
So you have a lot of most
Yeah.
I didn't tell you the story about Tally. Because I have a feeling that Tally come from your school.
That's what trying to boast.
Yeah.
And when they say them things, they put them in trouble because we're going to press on them.
That's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about.
Tyson, I was saying that I'm going to tell you a story about Tally because I believe he come to your school and he learned something from your school because we were playing a game in St. Kitts and Tally, just like what Tushy was saying, Tally came to the wicket and there was this fast bowler who was getting wickets. He got guys out trying to hook and Danny Livingston, who was the player coach at that time, told the players, I don't want anybody getting out on the hook shot. He not went with the hook shot. I couldn't hook, I get out the hook shot. And Tally, I was out, sorry. Guy also got out on the hook shot, but I was in the wicket when Tally came in. So when Tally was passing the fast bowler now, Tally said to the fast bowler, you bowlers are not happy. He didn't face any ball then. But he told the fast bowler, I see your bowlers are not happy when they get some wickets. Try one and bowl one and receive my eye. Right? The guy made a mistake on ball one and Tally on the ground. And Tally come on the wicket and say, look, I'm vexing my damn self, you know, because you know what I mean, we're supposed to last a ball.
8 to 6.
You know what I mean, try another one more. Let me see if I'm good. You know, because I missed time no one. That's the guy again, you know. But I mean, he wasn't like what Tushy said about his friend, the Jamaican guy who could make the town and get one ball. Right? I mean, he would have been bad until he got one ball. Right. But he was so confident. So I believe he came to your school. Yeah. What do you think?
I remember when Fruity came back. I would go to practice. So I'd be Fruity a test bowler now. Some guy said it, Fruity must cut down the pace. And this is about me because the ball game before you come test bowler. Bowl the same way. That's how they used to treat it over there. That's my son. I'm bowl the same way.
They love the test players. You're not a man, so try something.
But sir, I want to say close before you leave. I was so disappointed. I thought it was great fun. We're taking all the wickets. I don't know he's a doctor in the pitch. So you can get wickets, man. Prepare the pitch. Wait. I understand that.
I didn't want to bring in this part. But before I was captain, we had the same Charlie, Hakey.
Yeah.
He was open batsman. He wanted me to go prepare pitch. And remember I tell you, I was open. So you want to know if I was a batsman, I tell you I open. I tell him, boy, I can't don't prepare pitch. So when we go, Sunday now we're going early in general. Man put me second to last. Who made top score?
You.
Okay.
Wait. What was the top score?
Top score? My minister tell me, do not try to knock a boundary until you reach 30.
All right. So
you know I have to pass 30.
Ones and twos.
That you have the ball the same wicket too.
Yeah.
I can hook a good bouncer. Most pace batsmen can hook bouncers. Good bouncer.
True.
That's why some of them bowlers straight age and graduate.
True. They can hook.
Oh yeah.
Boy, he could hook.
By a bouncer, you can hook.
That's a good recipe.
Yeah.
He had a little juice in him. of
Oh, yeah.
Well, Tyson, we want to thank you very
Yeah.
much, man. Thank you very much for coming on. Talking
Yeah.
about the Parish League.
And I do appreciate it, man.
Yes, man, and you're looking well. You know, whatever
Yes.
you do, continue to do it. All right?
Okay, take care.
Until we see each other again, you know, you take care and be safe.
Say hi to Clyde for me and work on that, work on the records for us. Because we don't have any score books, we don't have any score books, and I know you keep your record. So, because in those records, when go ahead.
You're not talking about school book for peers.
I know you had something, because when we talk about at the reunion, you mentioned some stats for some of the games.
Yeah.
But you had your stats. I want to know when you take 4 wickets, if I get 2 or 3. The score book should show all that. So I would be happy to see some of the school. Yeah.
It's up to you guys with the school book. I don't keep school book. I keep the machine running to get everything run smooth. I don't keep the school book.
Okay, so
But if you notice, my brother Sakwe,
Yeah.
anytime he come to the field, he asks how much I make.
Yeah, it's true. That's a fact.
Just imagine, he will ask how much I make.
True.
That's the only question he
I
asks.
remember.
okay, and did he make a note of that? That's who you get the scores from, or
No,
you
that's
just keep
so.
your own personal scores?
I keep my particular match, like I know in Liberta, I mean, I put you to bowl Liberta out.
Right.
And then when we had the 91s to beat St. John's Village, Teddy, I mix up the whole left and Teddy, go after it.
Yeah.
Different from that, because any match I play, I don't go to people, you know, so. That's it.
All right, man.
Yeah.
So look, you get close.
Whatever stats you have,
Yeah,
if you can share it with us.
all right.
Because if you
All right,
get 10 wickets in the
thanks
game,
again.
and you get 4, two of the guys or one of the guys have to get the other, 6 for the 10th.
No, you see, you're going to have to, that might be difficult.
Okay.
Because remember now, when I left Piers, it's Muhammad Ali, I follow, I have all the books. You see,
Tell you now, I must tell your partner you were watching the show.
yeah, you will watch it?
Yes.
Let me tell you why.
They hearing you, he's hearing you, he's hearing you. I'm watching.
Okay. He will tell you as a man that when I beat Barbados, if he didn't want to tell me that about that, he was listening to David Barbados.
Anyway, nice seeing you again and nice talking to you. Give her my regards to Clytie and all the rest, okay?
All right, and Clyde, she said hi to you because she listened to you, she hearing your voice.
Okay.
All right, take care, you guys.
All right,
All
bye.
the very best, okay? And be safe, as I said.
Stay safe.
Right.
Okay, and we just, we're gonna close now. We wanna thank also our 2 studio guests, of course. You really gave us a mouthful there, and some of the things that we spoke about, we certainly hope that you follow up on it and so that we can try to get those young people in peers to once again know exactly what was there before, and what can be done in order to move on, So we thank you very much for appearing on to the Talking Parish League. And we say on behalf of our executive producer, who is Taddy Arundel, of course, who was my co-host this afternoon also, and also our technician, Mark Charles and Horton, and our sponsors, the people who made this possible, ACB Caribbean, Cecil Charles Group of Company, Blue Mountain Water, Brands for Less, Hutchison, and the Seco Pharmacy from Cecil Charles Group of Companies, along with Plumbing and Electrical. We say goodbye for now until next week, Thursday. But remember, tune in on Monday. You'll join me with Talking Sport when we bring you another exciting episode of Talking Sport. We say goodbye for now until next Thursday. Goodbye.